Hello everyone. So today I am live on this channel on DAMS DVT channel on YouTube to give you timelines and strategies for the next FMG screening exam. And a lot of students actually requested me to come online and talk about it because we have seen a pass rate which is around 10% in the previous June 2022 FMG exam, and it needs somebody to introspect onto it and make a strategy onto how to go about the exam and how to go about our preparation. Now I have talked to a lot of high achievers in this year's FMG exam, and a lot of their interactions are already there on the YouTube channel, so that you get some insight on what they were doing. Mostly what we need to do is we need to take a moment to introspect and find what went wrong and then work on it. I will help you in my video. I will talk about each of the things that I have learned from people who are high achievers and from my own experience as a teacher for last 2 decades. First and foremost, this is the time to resurrect. It is not the time to give up. I am assuring you, all of you, that tomorrow will be different. You have to resurrect the strength that you had. It's very important that, this exam, sometimes the results can be disappointing. Sometimes it might feel कि यार end of the world आ गया, लेकिन हार नहीं माननी है. मैं सबसे चाहता हूँ ये बात. जो भी बच्चे इस बार एग्जाम में अपने हिसाब से नहीं स्कोर ले पाए, please don't take it to heart. Don't please have that faith कि ये आप कर पाओगे. Don't give up right now. Don't give up. ये मुश्किल टाइम था. Last 6 months, last 1 year, last 2 years have been difficult for many of the foreign medical graduates. We have seen at DAMS that many of our students were attending online classes from their foreign universities. Their training was not they are not able to go to the same level of training that they had expected earlier, and they had problems with in Ukraine war. It was not easy for them. तो मुझे ये लगता है कि when there are multifactorial problems going on, you have to find out what you can control. You have to find out the areas where you can work on. सबसे पहले, the most important thing is focus all your energies on what you can control. You cannot control the world. And last 2-3 years we all have seen कि कुछ भी कर लें, there are things which happen which nobody would have predicted that they can happen. There are wars happening, there are pandemics happening, जो कभी हमने सोचा ही नहीं था, but they happen. Important thing is to focus your energies on what you can control and do not give up. Do not give up, okay? Tomorrow will be different, I assure you. Now is the time to first of all do a strength weakness analysis. If you had given this year's exam and you felt that you are at 140 or 135 or 145 and you think वो 5 क्वेश्चन और कौन से थे या वो 10 क्वेश्चन और कौन से थे जिससे मैं ये पास करके दूसरी तरफ आ जाता. You need to do a strength weakness analysis. I'll help you with the common questions that I feel mostly help us. While giving the exam, if you felt that the topics that are being asked, so there are 300 topics in the FMG exam. So if you felt during the exams that this topic ही मेरे लिए नए हैं, I had no idea about the topics, then you need to work on your content. जो आपने notes बनाए, जो आपने lecture किए, उस पे काम और करने की जरूरत है, because there were questions and topics where you had no idea about. Okay. Number 2 scenario is that I knew the questions, I knew the topics, but I could not recall. मुझे पता था लेकिन मैं recall नहीं कर पा रहा था. That means my problem was revision. And I have seen many students this year who used DAMS DVT to do the final revision in the final 1 or 2 weeks. They got an edge over it because they had a resource ready with them which could help them to revise. So you have to find out what is the thing that is pulling you back. Is it your content or is it your lack of revision? है ना, दोनों पे काम करना है. कंटेंट पे भी काम करना है, लैक ऑफ रिवीजन पे भी काम करना है. ठीक है, लेकिन ज्यादा किस पे करना है ये देखना है. अगर एग्जाम में मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा था तो मैंने रिवाइज नहीं किया, मुझे पता ही नहीं था तो कंटेंट ही कम है. Okay. तीसरी scenario, I had an idea about the questions and the topics, but in the final 2 choices, I could not rule out. That means I need to work on my MCQ skills. So then I need to think, was I doing enough MCQs? Was I, focusing on MCI or the FMG level of the questions, because what happens is nowadays there are so many resources available and many of them actually are, in their competition with each other, they are creating DM level material which is not even asked in NEET PG, not even asked for MD. They are all DM level, research journal level questions and videos. So I need to focus on my MCQ skills and I need to focus on the level of the real exam. Number 4 is time management, that I could not manage my time on the day of the exam. That means I need to work on exam skill. So when we are analyzing our strength and weaknesses, we need to work on these 4 things. Content. Was my content sufficient? Was I able to revise properly? Did I develop my MCQ skills during the exam preparation? And number 4 is, did I work on my exam skills? And I will help you to develop all of these. Have patience and have faith. I'll definitely give you an idea which is all common sense and it will definitely work. Okay. So number first is, let's imagine right now that you have not done well in this year's FMG exam. Then what happens is suddenly everybody is looking at you with self-doubt. Suddenly you find dost bhi keh rahe hain, isne lagta hai padha nahi hoga, rishtedar keh rahe hain. So many people having, pushing doubts onto you. And all those things are weighing on your shoulders and pulling you down. First of all, let's have faith in our ability. You have the same ability as anybody else. You have the ability to work hard in the next 6 months and change your fortune. आप कर सकते हैं, ये ability आपके अंदर है. Human brain is powered with so much plasticity that even if a part of our brain is damaged by accident, the other part takes over that function. So वो power तो है, that power is there. Time भी है, वो 24 hours आपके पास भी है, मेरे पास भी, सबके पास है. The question is faith. Can you develop the faith back onto you? And you need to do this. ये करना तो पड़ेगा, ये अगले 6 महीने तो अभी से ही let's start believing. And I am telling you today, I have met many foreign medical graduates and I have talked to them and I know you have the ability. All what is needed is proper guidance and mentoring to guide you into the proper path. So how will we go about it? I have some observations and I think if you follow them, it will help you to pass the exam easily. This exam, because it's a screening exam, they give around 50% of the questions in the paper are doable. Then they have some questions which are slightly tricky and some questions which are very tricky in the paper. Some questions are tricky, some choices are tricky. Like this year in paper 1, I felt the questions were more difficult, while in the paper 2, the choices were more tricky. Now, how will I solve this game? It is very easy if you try to do basics in all subjects. Like in DAMS, we do a special course which we call as FMG interactive course on the eMedicoz app, where we cover every subject in a crisp, concise manner. We don't overdo it. We do it in a crisp, concise manner. Like for example, in that course in radiology, probably I will teach you 8 hours. Thus 4 hours, 2 sessions. But the important thing is I will cover everything that is important for you. I will not overdo it. And the same thing I tell to all my teachers, don't overdo it, but do all subjects. Now, what is the importance of it? Now, what happens is when you look at, like suppose, this is probably the mantra that I would want you to understand, that I have seen many students when they talk to their seniors will tell them ke boss, do 5 subjects and usi se ho jayega FMG and 4 kar lo, 5 kar lo. But the reality is, even if you work very, very hard and cover only one subject, even in that subject, you will not be able to solve all the questions because exams are tricky. But if you do all these subjects to average level, then there will be subjects like radiology, psychiatry, or small subjects where you will have some easy questions which you can do like this. Like this year in radiology, we had around 10 questions and I have already posted my video on the YouTube channel where I have covered all the questions that were asked. And you will see, why pleural effusion, why pneumothorax, that I told you in 4 hours, that was enough. Overdo mat karo. Again, my answer to you is don't overdo it. Do it in a crisp, concise manner, but do all subjects. एक ही सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर पीएचडी नहीं करनी है, हमें सारे सब्जेक्ट्स का बेसिक पढ़ना है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके, उसके अलावा मुझे लगता है that this year and also in the previous year I have seen in the basic sciences, in the paper 1, they are now going more and more integrated. Although you are appearing for paper 1, but sometimes the questions look clinical. What is happening is, today in our exam board, and this is more important for students who are right now in 2nd year, 3rd year abroad and they are looking at a FMG exam or probably a next exam in future. Now what is happening is now the exam boards are talking about, and this is one of the key things that the NMC is talking about, is horizontal and vertical integration. That means the clinical subjects have to be integrated with the basic sciences, vice versa. There is a lot of talk in India about early clinical exposure. That means even the students in first year MBBS are supposed to see clinics right now in India. So we are gradually going to a system-wise approach, not subject-wise approach. Like if you have seen on the DAMS Ultimate Live Course on the app, we do a cardiology, cardiac medicine, followed by cardiac anatomy, cardiac pathology, cardiac pharma, cardiac physio, and we are the only one in India who does that system-wise approach. I believe that helps the foreign medical graduates a lot, because the problem that foreign medical graduate students face, that they because after final year the clinical subjects are fresh in their mind, but they have forgotten the first, second year, and if that part is asked tough in the exam, the score goes down. So but if I am teaching you clinical medicine, along with it I am telling you relevant basic sciences, I am integrating it as a curriculum, it helps you to form the system-wise approach. System-wise approach means reading everything about cardiology together, reading everything about neurology together, reading everything about GIT together. So there are two different sources in our app on the DAMS eMedicoz app. One is the FMGE interactive course, which goes fast, crisp, because that is intended for a 6-month time, where you do it in 4 months and revise it in 2 months. And there is a longer course called as Ultimate Live Course, which is intended for students who are right now in final year or third year, who might be appearing for next, with a more system-wise approach. And I will also give you a hint that suppose you are reading subject-wise, but you want to revise system-wise, you can put flags. मैं समझाता हूँ. Suppose this is your anatomy notebook. In your anatomy notebook, at the chapter of brain, you can put a flag. And similarly, in your medicine notebook at the CNS, you can put a flag. And in pathology at the CNS, you can put a flag. And then you can open all the CNS, all the correct system together. That okay, I'm reading CNS from medicine, CNS from path, CNS from physio together. And that is the kind of approach I was also using when I was a medical student. It helps you because reality is systems, not subjects. In the real life, you need to know about the heart in a 360 perspective. You need to know the clinical part also, pathology part also, physiology part also, anatomy part also. They are not separate specialties. Unfortunately, in the past, there was a lot of emphasis on the subjects, not on systems, but now all the Indian exams are focusing on system-wise approach, and this is going to become more and more evident when the next is implemented. Then, you have the material, you have made your notes, you have attended the classes live, and attending live always helps. I have talked to many, successful candidates, and I've seen if they were attending on the app live, they were able to make a better, teacher-student relationship as compared to doing it recorded, and they were also able to ask their doubts in the chat box. But even when you make the content, sometimes the problem is that you are not developing a habit of doing MCQs. So I have developed a formula which always works. So we have created a question bank called as DQB, which is the DAMS question bank on the eMedicoz app, with all questions picked by faculty members, with the attempt to keep the questions less. Now, entire of the DAMS philosophy is to keep the things concise and crisp, not to increase it so much that you cannot cover. So what we have done is I tell the teachers that let's create a question bank which is more concise, more doable, and which has previous year questions in form of bounce back section in the Q bank, plus it has clinical vignettes and all questions marked separately. That you want to do long stem questions, there is a separate section, usual one-liner, there is a separate section, and you can practice your questions. But the trick here is, don't do too many questions, do 50 questions every day, but don't miss out on any day. It's a promise. That means the goal is, I see sometimes foreign medical graduates, they try to do, they plan to do thousands of MCQ, but they end up doing nothing because it is too difficult to do, and you end up procrastinating. The simple thing is, have a daily habit forming, a promise that you will do to me today, that you may not have done well in the FMGE exam this year, but you will follow a promise of 50 MCQs daily, and you will win the game. But don't miss any single day. That's the key. Every day 50 questions should be there. Every day 50 MCQs should be done. And to help you form this habit, What we have done on the app is we have launched a free daily quiz where we do a 5-question quiz every day. So can you start doing at the midnight where we change the questions of the quiz? Can you start your day by 5 questions at least? You need to fall in love with MCQs. You need to develop a habit of doing MCQs, and daily quiz on the eMedicoz app is one of the initiatives that we have taken to help students form the MCQ habit. Again, it is important to stay crisp and concise. This is not a competitive exam. FMGE exam is a screening exam which you have to pass. In your attempt to overdo things or in your attempt to collect too many resources, you might get the risk of inability to revise in the end. I have seen many people who have passed this year's exam and all of them had revised well. To keep it concise and crisp and do multiple revision is the key of the your preparation. And another of the resources which can help you to rapidly cover a lot of ground is called as PPE Kit on the eMedicoz app. Now at DAMS we have created a PPE Kit where we have included all previous year papers of NEET, FMGE, and even the INI set are available with video solutions in this particular program. Now I have seen a lot of foreign medical graduates who will come to me. They would have subscribed to X resource or Y resource and taken their printed notes and thousands and hours, 20-30 kgs of notes, but they may not have seen the previous questions. Now the problem is that if I don't see what is being asked, what is trending in India, then I am putting myself at risk. I would strongly recommend that it's about keeping it simple. Don't make it too complicated. सब कुछ नहीं करेंगे लेकिन previous year questions जरूर देख लेते हैं. Let's look at the NEET PG questions. Let's look at the FMG questions. If possible, also look at the INI CET questions. And all this in PPE Kit come with video solutions. So listening to the teachers will give you the extra edge that okay, this is how the questions should be approached, and usually in the exams you will see topics tends to get repeated. Question nahi bhi repeat hota to topic repeat ho jata. It's a very important thing. It will help you a lot when you are finalizing your resources. And finally, for the final 2 weeks or the final 3 weeks of revision, we have created a course called as DAMS DVT. This year in NEET PG as well as FMG exam, we had, I think, a massive strike rate from the DVT. It's a short course, can be done in 1 week, maybe 2 weeks maximum, but it covers the entire high yield syllabus in a very crisp manner. So I have tried my best to limit the resources. Okay, if you have 6 months, go for the shorter interactive course. If you have 2 years or 1 year, go for the ultimate live course. Make your own notes so that you can revise them later on. Don't forget to look at the PPE Kit, use DVT for revision, and do the 50 MCQ DQB daily promise. Okay, and in your app, when you do the FMG interactive course, you will find mock test on FMG previous exam pattern. You have to develop a habit of giving the exams. More exams you will give, more mock tests you will give, more you will develop the ability to manage your time well, ability to approach your questions well, and all this will, formulate, why you will pass the exam is you are working on your content, you are working on your revision, you are working on your MCQ skill and exam skill. So this is the shortcut formula that I want you to follow in the next 6 months. Listen to the teachers, interact with the teachers live, make your own notes, revise your notes multiple times, do not go after multiple resources, focus on all the previous year papers, questions of different exams to get an idea on what is trending in the country. Do 50 MCQs every day to develop the habit of doing MCQs. And let's restart now. I know it is difficult. I know it is difficult to come back after a result which is not satisfactory. मुझे पता है मुश्किल होता है. मुझे पता है आज भी आपको लग रहा होगा कि यार छोड़ते हैं. मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि अभी छोड़ना नहीं है, एक बार और छोड़ना नहीं है. लेट्स, बिकॉज आप अभी 140 पे, आप अभी 135 पे, 145 में, थोड़ा सा और 2 क्वेश्चन और ये निकल जाएगा. लेकिन अभी छोड़ देंगे तो बात मुश्किल होगी. लेट्स रीस्टार्ट नाउ. लेट अस क्रिएट नो रिग्रेट्स. कोशिश करते हैं कि आगे हमें रिग्रेट ना हो. एक बार ये करने से आपको इसको निकल पाएंगे. लेकिन एक लॉजिकल माइंड से, एक ठंडे दिमाग से सोचते हैं व्हाट वेंट रॉन्ग एंड व्हाट वी कैन डू नाउ. एंड always remember your parents and always think about the happiness that you can bring to them. This year when I was interacting with all the high achievers, all the shining stars from DAMS family who have done well in the FMG exam, many of them, The most driving force was the smile on their parents, lips that they could see after the results. उसको आपको भी टारगेट करना है, कर पाएंगे आप. आई एम टेलिंग यू, आप कर पाएंगे. बहुत सारे लोग करते हैं, आप भी कर पाएंगे. द ओनली थिंग इज वी नीड टू वर्क हार्ड फॉर 6 months. आखिरी के लिए मत छोड़ो. ये मत कहो कि आई विल डू इट इन द एंड. अभी 6 महीने लगते हैं. वर्कआउट करते हैं. क्या गलत था? कंटेंट गलत था, एमसीक्यू स्किल में गलती थी, एग्जाम स्किल में गलती थी, कि रिवीजन में गलती थी? आई हैव ट्राइड माई बेस्ट टू इंक्लूड ऑल दी स्मॉलेस्ट पॉसिबल, क्रिस्पेस्ट पॉसिबल, कंसाइजेस्ट पॉसिबल रिसोर्सेज फ्रॉम द डैम्स रिसोर्सेज फॉर यू. Pick and choose them at the right stage. DVT for the end, FMGE interactive course for the first phase, revision of multiple times, 50 questions every day from DQB. Don't overdo it. There's no need to do too much, because if you do too much and don't revise, nothing is going to help you. 50 MCQ daily to form the habit and appear for mock test. Build your exam skill, build your momentum, and I am telling you, आपका टाइम जरूर आएगा. And I'll be taking an interview of yours on this very channel after the next exam. I wish you all the best. Stay positive. To all the foreign medical graduates, all the children who were not able to do well in this exam, I am telling you, hold on. आपका टाइम आएगा, आप कर पाएंगे. Stay positive. Keep working hard. हो जाएगा. मैं दोबारा कह रहा हूं, हो जाएगा. Don't give up right now. Don't give up. And don't have any regrets in future. I wish you all the best. God bless you. Do let me know if I can help you in any way in future as well. I wish you all the best.